Guys, I got a question from my buddy Fisk, BJJ, on YouTube. He says, I'd be curious to see the adjustments you'd make both in takedown setups as well as bottom game half guard when strikes are involved. So brother, thank you for the question. As always, this is my handsome assistant, Mr. Adam Wilson. So getting into it, Fisk, we'll talk about takedowns first. I think the biggest thing that I think about, because I fought mixed martial arts and I've done boxing and everything else before, when I think about takedowns and anything grappling related for that matter, in relation to a situation where strikes are involved, whether it be a fight in a cage, fight on the street, any of that stuff, I think one of the biggest things is going to be the distance, right? So, you know, in grappling a lot of times, we're going to be in this bent arm. This is, you know, in wrestling, we always talk about being a bent arm reach away because I'm always ready to grab the legs. But this is the exact place where I don't want to be in a fight, because if I'm here, I'm right in his striking range, okay? So most often, I'm going to be either super far out so that he cannot hit me. You know what I mean super far? I mean basically I'm without of his striking range. And when I decide to go in, if I'm thinking about taking this guy down or grappling them, I'm going to be so close that his striking is going to be pretty ineffectual. He's not going to be able to really hit too hard. He might be able to rabbit punch a little bit, but nothing's going to be super strong. And also something to note is that if he was here and he really started to try to like punch, boom, I can easily take it down because he's going to lose balance there, okay? Another thing is that my hands are going to be up. I'm not going to be going into a, let's say if we're on the street or something or an MMA fight, I'm not going to go into my wrestling stance and like right here where he can punch me right in the face. My hands are going to be up. And for me, I boxed and kickboxed for a number of years when I was doing fighting, so I would cover with punches. And also for you guys that are interested in learning how to fight for self-defense, I really encourage you to go out and actually do some boxing and kickboxing in its pure form. Really learn it, because if that's something where you think you really need to have it, just like jiu-jitsu and wrestling are some of the most effective, sambo and judo are some of the most effective grappling arts, you know, Western boxing, Muay Thai, things like this. These are good forms that you need to learn if you want to go that route. And I think it's worth doing, because again, jiu-jitsu is good, but if you're going to talk about being the better striker, I mean, bar none, it's going to be boxing and kickboxing. So again, I can cover with strikes. I might throw something up to get their hands to come up, right? So that I can go in for a takedown. Another thing is with a fight situation, I don't like shooting low. Even in my fights in MMA, I never shot super low, right? Because of the fact that I was always afraid of catching a knee. Like if I go in right here, bam, catching a knee, that always kind of freaked me out. So most of the time what I would do is I would work on setting up some sort of like punching or kicking combination to bring those hands up to block here. And this way, this opens up the body here for a basic blast, double leg, single leg, things like that. So that's, I mean, the big thing. It's going to be in or out, and then setting up something with punches to accommodate that. Now from half guard, I've actually, in an MMA fight, I've actually played a little half guard and played a little butterfly guard. It wasn't kind of intentional, it just kind of happened. Again, basic things for half guard. I'm not going to be playing like this basic knee shield here where I'm right in range, right? Because again, I'm going to get hit. I'm either going to be making a crap load of space here. So if he was to try to punch me, boom, I can lock him up here because he's going to be off balance to do so. Or I'm going to be so close, again, that his punches aren't going to be terribly strong. Doesn't mean he can't hit me, but it's not going to be in that optimal range where he can really turn his hips and his shoulders into it. And again, if he tries to strike from here, I can throw his body down, get his hands on the mat, and I gotta come out. Now, another thing to consider with any sort of guard position, when you're on the bottom and strikes are involved, when you go for it, you gotta go, right? So for instance, we know that kind of, if you're playing a half guard game, that low half guard, you're gonna be probably going for a type of sweep or something. That's what I would go for. You could also go for something like this and get this triangle here, but for me, I would be going for a sweep. So if I'm gonna go for it, you have to go for it with a sense of urgency, because I don't wanna be like hanging down here in like a low half guard, getting my friggin' elbow, eating his elbows, right? So if I'm gonna do this, I need to punch, kick out, and come out immediately. And there was even, I'm just gonna share this real quick. There was even a butterfly position where I went for a takedown. No, actually, I kneed the guy, excuse me. I kneed the guy in the face. He took me down, and then I sort of just ended up here naturally. I got control of this arm here and locked him up. And as he began to try to reach back, bang, I arm dragged him, he stood up, and I came up with a single leg. I didn't end up finishing a single leg, but it was an arm drag. It was kind of funny. It was an arm drag to a single leg that I just showed earlier that week in the class before my fight. And I remember afterwards, one of the guys came up to me after I won the fight. He's like, "Oh, dude, that was the same, you know, setup that you showed earlier this week, just, you know, with punches." So a little bit of a ramble there, but I think that sort of the overwhelming or the overarching sort of idea is the same. Distance, you have to control it. You're either going to be far out or really close so that the punching and the strikes are not optimal. Because again, if we want to throw a good strike, it's not an arm punch. It's a twist of the hips to really generate that torque. If you're going to play from those positions, especially from the bottom, when you go, you got to go. Same thing with takedowns. If I'm going to go for a takedown, I'm not going to like hang out here. When I make the commitment that I'm going to go in for the takedown, 100% I go in for it. And so those are the big things, right? Controlling the distance, and when you go 100%, you got to go with urgency because otherwise you're going to eat strikes. So I'm really hopped up tonight. We just got done training, and I ate a little bit more carbs than I have been recently, and I'm like buzzing right now. So hope that video was entertaining for you guys. I'm finished. Adam, thanks guys.